Hi, I'm Jennifer Moore. I'm super excited to be teaching this course, How to Start Restorative Communication in Trauma-Informed Schools. This is Module 1, where I'll demonstrate how you can start thinking a little bit differently about how you communicate with others. But first, before we dive in, let's take just a minute to settle our minds and calm our breath. This time that you are taking to learn and work on restorative communication is a huge gift to yourself. So let's take a moment to appreciate it, okay? So close your eyes for just a moment and take a few slow, deep breaths. As we begin looking at different communication styles, you may see yourself in them. Sometimes you'll recognize yourself in a good light, and other times, maybe not so much. That's a good thing though, because self-awareness is really essential to the process of learning restorative communication. So make a mental note of it and then let it go. Are you ready? All right, let's begin. I love doing thumbs up, sorry. Okay, at the end of this video, you'll be able to recognize two different types of communication: giraffe communication and jackal communication. Early in my career, I was a teacher in a school that had an incredibly toxic work environment. The principal would hold staff meetings in a classroom. All the teachers came in, sat down, and then the principal just spoke. And then after the meeting, as we would walk out to our cars, the real faculty meeting would happen in the parking lot. And those parking lot faculty meetings were led by Peggy, a veteran teacher, and they started with, "Can you believe blah, blah, blah," or "I can't believe that so-and-so did this," or "Did you hear about this?" And those meetings, while useful to help people express their feelings, there was no structure to them. There was no shared understanding of how to really use our feelings to help create a productive outcome. And all those negative feelings just kind of kept swirling around. And this school was super unhealthy for students and for staff. It was a school that was filled with jackals. So what do I mean when I say jackals? So Marshall Rosenberg chose the jackal as a symbol of the kind of language we typically use. So it's usually critical and it's blaming language. And the jackal was chosen as a symbol because the jackal tends to be relatively selfish, self-involved animal. Jackal communication in general is really not about building healthy relationships with people. It's really about helping the individual get what they want, kind of regardless of anyone else. It's about kind of bulldozing people out of your way so you can get what you want. Yeah. Here are some examples of jackal communication. "Why'd you do that? You're such a jerk. My friend is all about herself. I can't believe the president did that. How shameful." These are kind of phrases that we hear every day that are critical, blaming, and judgmental. And really, jackal language, I find, is everywhere. I hear it in music and in movies, in terms of like movie reviews. I see it restaurant reviews. How many stars do you give this restaurant for service? And then on the news, I feel like the news is all about finding who's responsible and blaming them and bringing their errors to light. And it's not that I don't think that should happen. I think that fact finding has to be done judiciously, but I feel like it's kind of a virus now, and the blaming and criticizing is everywhere in our culture now. With giraffe language, I'm kind of asserting that maybe there's a different way. Jackal language is even in our schools. I think teachers are expected to be critical of students and are by default because we're expected to judge them all the time. I think principals are expected to be critical and judgmental of teachers. And parents can be critical and judgmental of teachers and principals. That's just kind of how things are working in our culture right now. And that really doesn't feel good for anyone. And there is a better way. So good news, giraffe language is an alternative to all of this. So giraffe language, the giraffe is the symbol of restorative communication, nonviolent communication, because the giraffe has the largest heart of any land mammal. And it's unique in that the structure of the giraffe's body allows it to have a relatively broad perspective. And with restorative communication, you teach yourself to take a step back and not react. You give yourself time to thoughtfully respond. Giraffe language is reflective, as I just mentioned, because you get to take a step back and really think carefully about what you want to say. It's caring because you're considering the needs of the other person in the conversation you're having. And it's really supportive of the people you're communicating with. It's not kind of all about me. It's about us as a community. And I firmly believe that it's the type of communication we can all strive towards. Maybe hard to get there, but we can get there. Here are some examples of giraffe language. I see that you closed the door quietly. I'm so grateful you did that because then we didn't bother the neighbors. I'm so relaxed because we finished our lesson planning for the week a few days early. And in this example, you're saying what you feel and why. You're not criticizing or being sarcastic, and you're not using jackal language. Here's another example. I noticed you put your backpack away when you came inside. That makes me feel happy because it shows you're taking care of your materials. You're saying what you observed and how you feel about what you observed. There's no jackal judgment. And these examples may sound a little strange to you because this isn't how we typically speak. But again, learning giraffe language is kind of like learning a whole new language. In review, there are at least 2 ways to communicate. This newfound awareness you're developing allows you to choose which type of language you want to use, jackal or giraffe. This course is really about learning giraffe language, and it will help you to better identify why you're communicating, what you're communicating, and how you're communicating. Jackal language tends to be judgmental, critical, and blaming. And giraffe language tends to be honest, direct, and clear. The workbook that you can download for this module has a ton of great activities in there for you to start thinking more about giraffe language and jackal language, and gives you opportunities to think about when you hear both types of language. So work the workbook. Next up, we're going to be talking about the 4-part communication framework.